There she is, the beauty in latex. Watch as she glides round the ring. She has poise and strong legs. The arenas are wet. It's AEW's WrestleDream. God. What's up, sickos? It's me, the fucking lost it, Bix Bested, and this is Don't Call Me Diva, where we only talk women's wrestling, okay? We sometimes sing about it. I run down the women's action in the weekly AEW and ROH shows, plus whatever else that takes my fancy. And this week, it's the pay-per-view Wrestle Dream, which you all may have heard of by now, perhaps. Let it be known before we enter this episode, if you are new here, that we live in the world, deep in the world of kayfabe here in Divaville. So let loose. It is episode 31 of the show. Can you believe it? And if you need to know more on me and why we are here, go check out episode 1. Hi. Yes, I know. Shh. I fucked up last week. I'm still here. You get one more episode of Don't Call Me Diva before I go to Japan. So hush now. Shush with all that noise. We're just going to move on like adults, okay? It's WrestleDream week, and the show was fantabulous, as you may have heard. Counting the tailgate, there were 4 women's matches, each of them killed. Mercedes Moné was challenged by another familiar champion. Bane and Ford came dressed for battle as 2 of my favorite villains ever. Well, from that universe, Chris and Tony had a battle of epic and dramatic highs and lows, which took you on an incredible journey. Such a good fucking match. And then the clash that had been building for months finally happened between Tekla and Hader, and it was as demolishing of each other's bodies as I could have ever wanted. This time, they had 0 hour on at the same time as the tailgate, so I missed the remarkable promo cut by a queen, Renee Paquette's build-up that she made about the Darby and Mox match. Of course, I had to go back and watch it because this was very important for many reasons, but especially Don't Call Me Diva lore. St. Louis, I have to say. Oh, and by the way, before I move on to St. Louis, that was a brilliant freaking promo. It's on YouTube, of course, so go have a little look-see. You really get a lot more of Renee's true feelings during this like build-up. Mainly, of course, it's all, for her family. As she has stated before, she is aware of Mr. Paquette's plans. And she's even stated that she is in support of, did she say all of them? Did she say most of them? One cannot remember, but she was not, let's just say, against anything. But yes, she definitely was slightly miffed that he should take her to this emotional level, shall I say. Back to St. Louis. Was everything you could have wanted from a pay-per-view crowd. Mwah, mwah. It made the whole event even more special when the crowd is letting loose and they're just like getting into it. It creates wrestling magic. But before we get into all of that, but also massive spoiler alert. Yes, let's pretend that you don't already know our commandant of her ever-growing fleet of ocean vessels, Ultimo Monet, has now surpassed the record with, count them, let's not, 12 titles in her possession now. Mercedes was challenged at WrestleDream, which we shall wait to get to before we pop the cork on that one, for funsies, which she won her 11th title in. So, if you don't know, you can have a little game in your head. Who the fuck could that be? Her match in Winnipeg Pro Wrestling was on the 19th, and it saw her challenge the very tough champion and ex-boxer, the woman with amazing hair, Jody Threat. Jody Threat cut an awesome promo on this upcoming match at Rumble in the Burt. Rumble in the Burt? Yes, Rumble in the Burt. Shotzi was also on this card. So far, I am yet to find out where I can watch this event, but I have seen exclusive on the scenes sicko recorded footage, and it looked like everyone having a brilliant time. They have last year's event up on their challenge, up on the challenge of a channel. So as soon as I see it, I shall let you all know somehow. As we'll give a little watch about it and we'll have a little chat about it. Mercedes fought in Arena Mexico as well. Don't you forget, against Persephone for her CMLL belt. Battled in WrestleDream straight after, and then had that tough battle against Jody Threat for Winnipeg Pro Wrestling. A normal CEO could never. Holy banana bread, sickos. We have been blessed by the patron saint of the pod, Layla Gray. The Queen of Beatitude was stomping down the runway at the Hello LA Girl fashion show, burning it all up with that strut. Woo! That strut, that strut. Layla Gray will also be wrestling, not in this outfit, at the up-and-coming all-women's wrestling event called Ladies Night Out 15. It is on the 30th of November on the Title Match Network. Never heard of it, but have a look for it. Layla Gray will be joined by some excellent wrestlers, so it will definitely be worth checking out. We have already spoken about some of them. We also know really well, and others we have yet to run into. Strap on, people, because as we are basking in the glory of our wonderful Layla Gray, I need to quickly run down all the little people, why the fuck did I say that? All the women, what the fuck? All the women that will be wrestling in this pay-per-view. So here we go. We will start. That little fucking mouth split has really thrown me for a side. Where the fuck did that come from? I know where it was come from. I was doing this little thing, right? And then I just imagined them as tiny, matches in front of me. That's where it came from. See, sometimes you just need to stop and think through that thought, and then you realize that you're not as much of a disgusting person as you originally thought. You're just a little bit nutty. Moving on. For battle, we have Layla Gray. Please, if anyone's there, give her a good little Layla Gray from me. Priscilla Kelly, Shotzi Blackheart, Deonna Purrazzo, Lacey Lane, Maya World, Hollywood, Haley J, Vipress, Janai Kai, Izzy Moreno, Shazza McKenzie, Jasmine Allure, the current Ladies Night Out champion, I would also like to add, the RWA Women's Champion and Hurricane Pro Women's Champion. So watch your titles, Missy. Check under the ring for a little Miss, Monet, Miss Miller. Oh, why? Because she's not really things. Zaya Brookside will be there. Jada Stone, Tiffany Neves, who is the current NWA World Women's Tele Champion. So same warning goes out to you, Madame. And Angelica Risk, who is awesome, by the way. We used to see a lot of her in Dark, but we haven't seen much of her recently. Sammy Chaos, Savannah Evans, Caitlin Marie, Freya the Slayer, Arika Demia. I don't know why I was going to say Africa. Arika Demia. My accent really fucking slaughtered that one, didn't it? Emily J, JC Storm, Vanity, Clara Carter, Maddie Max, Jasmine Howell, Mila Johnson, Audrey Allen, Ava Brooks, full of women's wrestling. But now we must move on. And before we do, we must say our goodbyes to our dear Layla. Go kick some ass, Queen, and a happy birthday to Mr. Grey from all of us. A reminder that another show packed with women's wrestlers is coming up on the 25th of October, which is 3 days from recording. It is Who Runs the World, put on by our ROH Forever champ, Athena. So if you've been wondering where she's been, this may be the answer to our questions. Abaddon, the champion, will be there. Nyla Rose will be there. Marina Shafir will be there. And the AEW Women's World Champion, Chris Statlander, will be in action along with Maya World and many other brilliant wrestlers. Hey, rightio. Now, before we potter on past the 3-hour dynamite, dive into the Talongate Brawl and explode into WrestleDream, we will briefly check out ROH because there were some interesting little developments going on over there. The beautiful Lexi Nair with all the hair has the badass Isla Dawn backstage, speaking of hair, and she is making her ROH, got it, ROH debut with the grizzled young veterans. The gloriously punk Isla Dawn, is so stoked to be here, but he is rudely interrupted in the middle of telling us all about it by Mark Sterling, the fucker. He interrupts in his very usual rude way. With him are the premier athletes, and as Isla Dawn clarifies what help he could be asking, I haven't got it. I haven't. I have now. Where am I up to? Clarifies what help he could be asking for. They censor asshole, which is so precious. Bless. And Story Denali takes great offense to that blatant disrespect and just steps right up to Isla Dawn, who don't give a fuck, by the way, I would just like to add. Now, Story Denali is a monster of a woman, and she may be doing me the personal favor of dressing in all black, battle black, but Isla Dawn has experience up the wazoo and more tricks in her back pockets than Smart Mark has in his prison pocket. It looks like we will be getting a trios intergender battle between these two teams in our coming future. So Denali better be prepared. More intergender matches, more women on the shows in general. 2025 is delivering in every way that we were moaning about just a year before. The grizzled young veterans and an Isla Dawn come out to battle looking like a well-oiled machine. They get into the ring with confidence and perform a very cool and interesting battle pose on and betwixt the ropes. They are facing the ragtag group of Gabriel Eros, who had the misfortune of having his name misspelled. Yavi. Is it Yavi or is it Javi? Oh God, here I am doing the thing I didn't hate the most and not checking these things before, but I'm pretty sure it was Yavi. And Carolina Cruz, who we had the pleasure of meeting in episode 30. Cruz is a little punk herself in fishnets, cut off jeans, red latex battle gear that has a many a layer. The men folks start off the battle, so as tradition, we shall scoot on to where the real action takes place. I kid. But in Diva Law, I don't quit, kid. I don't quit and I don't kid. That is a lie. I will quit when I want to. Someone from within the crowd unleashes their own battle cry as the women get the tag. It was not I. Carolina Cruz and Isla Dawn square up and start brawling in the middle of the ring. They move on to a more technical battle, but both are countering the fuck out of each other. Isla Dawn goes, fuck this noise, and cracks Carolina in the face with a knee and then hits her over, slamming Cruz into the mat with a very lovely overhand suplex. The strength of Dawn is phenomenal. Miss Story Denali. It's Cruz who manages to get the first pin, though, after escaping the corner and planting Dawn's face into it. A handspring back elbow, snapmare into the middle of the ring, and then Cruz catapults a lariat through Dawn. Ooh, watch out. Dawn's out by 2, but it ends up in a headlock. A few elbows, a couple of stiff forearms, and one gorgeous Saito suplex later, and Isla Dawn is in control. Carolina Cruz takes out to Gabriel Eros, but Isla Dawn is activated and she wants to Eros gets mouthy with Dawn and she clocks him in the jaw. Haha! The grizzled menfolk double team on Eros and a Isla Dawn gets an assisted little leg drop added in for good measure. A bit of a rumble ensues. Isla puts her foot through Carolina's face and then glomps on a awesome dragon sleeper and cracks the back. And cracks the back and cracks back on Carolina's neck. Cranks back. That's what that was meant to say. Cranks back on Carolina's neck. I wonder why she was cracking. No crack over here, just me. She ends up bending her right over while the menfolk take care of the legal business in the ring, and they get the win for the debut of whatever we are calling this tag team. The grizzled punks. The young punks? No, kind of like the young ones. We're moving on. This is not our job. Of course, there are shenanigans after the match, as Isla is stepping up. Is stepping up to the interfering fuckers that are the premier athletes. Story decides that the way she shall be dealing with Isla Dawn is to attack her from behind. Deanna cuts a promo on Trish Adora. Shit is ramping up between them, and they haven't even had their pure tournament match yet. Next, we continue our block of women's action with the battle of Diamante and Aaliyah James. Aaliyah James has been in wrestling for 6 years, has held the ALW Women's Championship for Atomic Legacy Wrestling, that is in Florida. Sidebar, the Good Brothers hold their tag titles. Aaliyah James started off her career in the Centro de Trenos de Wrestling and dabbled in NXT. Look at me with my flourish with my hand. Aaliyah James is from Essex, though, in England, and is 5'1", 155 centimeters, and 46 kgs, which is 99 pounds. Once again, why I make a point to mention this is all explained in the upcoming episodes of the Books and Big Show, a show all about wrestling sprinkled with madness. You're so lucky. Aaliyah James has white, blue, and gold battle gear, all sparkled as is wrestling appropriate. Diamante is in her black and silver battle gear and will be a very tough opponent for Aaliyah James. And with a cheeky self handshake, Diamante is feeling herself this evening. Athena would be very proud. The match gets started. Diamante bullies and overpowers Aaliyah at first, but James has some very impressive moves, and she uses her technical skills to get out of Diamante's grips, turning a one-handed cartwheel into a lung blower that catapults Diamante over her head. Very impressive. Diamante avoids the running Meteora, though, and springboards through the ropes, diving her elbow through James. But Diamante does not get the win yet. Aaliyah James would break through the barrage of pain from Diamante with some quick and very stiff forearms, but the tough as Fook Diamante eats them up, slams her face into the mat. This activates Aaliyah James, though, and she dominates Diamante, almost finishes her off in a gorgeous fisherman suplex into the pin. But Diamante kicks out at 3. Kicks out at 3? Before 3. If she kicked out at 3, it would probably still count. Technicality, I know. Aaliyah doesn't give up, and they have a flurry of pins. But the deadlift German suplex puts Aaliyah out, and Diamante is the one that gets the win into 3. Now, Marina Shafir accompanies a certain wet fringe by the name of fucking Yuta for a battle, but we have no time for any of that, so we are swiftly moving on to Dynamite now. Woo! Now, Dynamite kicks off with a boom, so remember to appropriately shake thy boobs. The remarkably knows her way into my heart, Renee Paquette is sitting down with the world champion, Chris Statlander and timeless Tony Storm. The two wrestlers, you can see I'm like fiddling with my nose here. I don't know if it's like a pseudo thingy or what, or if I'm just singing the shiny things, but like this may continue on. So if it's getting annoying, like, I apologize. Moving on. The remarkably knows her way into my heart. Renee Paquette is sitting down with the world champion and Chris Statlander. And no, world champion Chris Statlander and timeless Tony Storm. The two wrestlers began with no words, just some casual stripping, until Renee puts a stop to all of that. This is the time for words, not the time for negativity. Chris and Tony exchange their conversational third act, a small but very important chapter in the World Championship storyline is going on right here. Mm, gorgeous. This beautiful little storyline transition with these little stepping stones to this like main event. Gorgeous. Both wrestlers come to an end in their war of words and transition into a physical war in the ring. Who could see this coming? These two have rolled around with each other more in these last few weeks than they have in their entire story and journey in AEW until now. We are in Independence, Missouri, 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 Missouri. And the entire crowd are on their feet. The violent passion that explodes between them in the ring comes to a climax with both wrestlers daring the other to take them out with the title belt, but neither would. We have a hard-hitting Jamie Hayter up next, battling the mix of violence herself, Sky Blue, who comes to the ring with her sister of sin, Julia Hart. There is no time for songs, and there's no time for dances right now. We must make haste so as not to get all lost in the weeds on our way to WrestleDream, okay? As Choke explodes through the arena speakers, Julia and Sky slowly make their way to the ring and complete one of wrestling's greatest entrances, if I do say so myself. Not that I am involved in it in any way. And speaking of... No, 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 no. Get your butt into the ring, woman. There's no time for this right now, okay? They don't start off as violent as I expected, and instead they both start off grappling each other and dancing a more technical dance of violence. That's until Sky got spicy with a couple of, handful of hair slams, which activate Jamie Hayter, and she gives Sky one of her own. Hayter enjoys testing Sky's physical foundations as she rams her shoulders into her at full force. Jamie Hayter feels neighborly and introduces Sky Blue to all of the top turnbuckles. Hayter entertains the crowd with punches to the back of her head, but she does not get the pin. It's too early for all of that. Blue rolls out of the ring to where Hart is now. I got it. Ha ha. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, I almost sucked it back in. Blue rolls out of the ring to where Hart is now, and Hayter has to deal with Julia and her fabulous pants. The veil is cast, and Jamie's vision is obscured to see completely blank Blue, who is behind Hart until the last second, when Sky Blue's boot is going straight through her jaw. The violence and shenanigans ramp up from here, and it's not a good time for Jamie Hayter. Sky Blue has activated violent mode, and Julia Hart manages to use some perfect distractions to choke out Hayter every now and then. Blue plays around with Jamie in between beatings, and one such moment gives Hayter an opening to get in some very good rib shots. Hayter dropkicks Sky into death. And as they say, the tables are now turned. Hayter still is unable to pin Blue. Sky Blue is tough, and she every match. Ada is finding out. Both wrestlers, fully activated now, burst into a flurry of brutality, both eating powerful counters whilst dodging the cracks Hayter in the face with a superb super kick. But Hayter manages to come back with a deadly looking backbreaker, and both women collapse to the mat as the crowd cheer for the battle that is before them. As we watch from above, we can see them both sucking in as much as possible while, oh, and she fucks with the, oh no, we don't want to be doing that. We don't want to be doing that. Are we back? Yes, we're good? Okay, don't fuck with the mic woman. I'm getting a bit handsy over here. Oh, yes, we are back. All right. As we watch from above, we can see them both sucking in as much air as possible while the ref starts to count over them, which I think is very rather rude. Once back on their feet, the battle continues, going even further, if you can believe it, than before. Sky tries to take out Hader on the outside, but gets caught and sent crashing into the floor. Sky tries to take out Hader on the outside, but gets caught and sent crashing into the floor via a fan fucking tastic fall away slam. Hader lets out a battle cry of power, while Sky lets out a battle cry of the thud that made when both of them hit the ground sounded very heavy. A neck breaker and a sliding lariat doesn't do the trick in keeping Blue down for the pin, though. Blue counters out of the haterade with a pump kick to the chest to Jamie. Fucking bloody brilliant idea there, Sky. Acts quickly and takes Hater out with the Asai DDT, which was Ultimo Dragon's finisher, by the way. But not even that can keep Hater down for the three. Sky runs off the ropes for her finisher, Code Blue, which she has not landed in Yonkies Donkeys. And she won't do it here either, as Hader clobbers her with a stiff as fuck lariat into the stiffer Haterade. And Blue goes down. 1, 2, 3. Hader gets the win. Julia is pissed. Hader celebrates. Tekla interrupts, though, with a backstage message for Hader. She's been around the world and she can't find her baby. But Tekla only has insults and fighting words for Jamie Hader. Hader continues to celebrate in the ring. She don't give no fuck. The remarkable in black leather Renee Paquette has a chat with Mercedes Moné, and I share. Oh no, sorry, moving a little bit quickly into that next sentence. She has a chat with Mercedes Moné, and I share the same feelings about math. We do not have time for the butterfly belt collector right now. I'm terribly sorry. We must move on. Bane and the menfolk come out to the ring. The Megasis cuts a battle promo on the hero of the locker room, Willow Nightingale. Out back, Willow has her friends gathered around her, and they are quick to reply to Bane and also FTR, who are out there with her. Harley will be having the pleasure of battle with Megan Bane, and before we move on, thank you, Willow and Harley, for doing me the personal favor of dressing in all black. I see you. I appreciate you. Intergender chaos erupts in the ring as Willow decides all this chit chat is overrated and they clear the ring of top gods. But full of furious anger, Bane explodes at Harley with her destructive opening battle plan because we are going straight into the match, people. Harley comes back at Bane with some of her own shoulder tackles, but that just pisses off Bane more. The Megasis body splashes and body slams the life out of Cameron, but she comes back after one too many and gets Megan in the ropes with a brutal choke. The wrath flows through Harley as she hammers Bane's face into the top turnbuckle and then kicks her in the same face. But the power of Bane wins again, and Harley gets brought back into the ring with a breathtaking suplex. Bane throws Harley into the barricades, slams her onto the floor, and then eventually throws her back into the ring. where it just all continues to get a bit worse. Harley Cameron's stamina has definitely increased because she can recover a lot quicker. And when Bane goes to the top rope for fuck knows what, Harley kicks her in the gut and Bane gets all tied up in the tree of woe. Harley takes Megan out with a glorious DDT, long enough to get her in the pin, but not the win. Bane replies fast with the Falcon Arrow, but she also cannot get the pin. The Megasis has ideas of flying again, and this time with Harley on her shoulders in a fireman's carry. And she starts to climb the ropes. What are you doing? You most powerful and glorious woman. Jesus fucking Christ. Once again, though, we won't know because Harley successfully, kind of thank fuck, wriggles out of certain danger and slams the fook out of Megan Bane into a very close but not pin. Cameron runs into action but ends up running right into the decapitator. Bane gets her up and slams Harley down for Fate's descent. That's it, folks. It's one and a two and a no, 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 no. Holly, a motherfucking Cameron kicks out of the Fate's descent. Did you hear that right? Yes, you fucking did. Who the goddamn thunk? Definitely not Megan. And she is shooketh. The crowd goes bonkers. Holly engages smart wrestling mode, but Bane engages extra strength mode and bridges out of the pin. She keeps a hold of Harley and deadlifts her up into the running Liger Bomb position. Death. One, two, three. Bane gets the win. Harley is down. Fuck, that was a good match. Well done, Harley. Intense, I have to say. Fucking fuck tag team matches. I want to see these two and like a 5 match battle. Like fucking bring that on. Bring the storyline of Bane versus Cameron into my life and continue this because that was impressive. Harley Cameron kicked out of Fate's Descent. Hello. Hello. Oh, don't get me caught into that little like run. I'll be doing that for like years, and you will be here going, she's still doing it? Yes, she fucking is. We should probably stop watching them. Yeah. But you never know. She start talking again. Stranger things have happened. We are in the tailgate brawl, sickos, for this pay-per-view. 0 Hour, as I said earlier, was premiering on the YouTube at the same time as the tailgate brawl. It was once again a remarkable, oh, brilliant. Renee Paquette, I seriously and all very respectfully fucking love you. You are beyond amazing at your job and you're an inspiration, to be perfectly honest. And you looked hot as folk in that red dress. Huh. She's amazing. She is amazing. If there are like awards for like her job, throw them at her calmly. So, no damage. In the ring, the tailgate brawl is going on. We are in St. Louis. In St. Louis. I love you. Like we said before, you were loud, you had fun, and we all got to witness some exquisite wrestling and some wholesome crimes together as a community. Sick of shit. I hope we get to see more of each other in the future. I was very privileged enough to be able to watch it on a Sunday down here at the bottom of the earth and at the very perfectly reasonable time of 12 p.m. I will let you know. That never happens. Snacks were delivered. I managed to utilize the double pay-per-view bundle with like Forbidden Door. We were awake. We were excited. Some people feel the passing of time during these AEW pay-per-views way more than what I do, I have to say, because I wholeheartedly personally feel like a 4.5 hour wrestling, emphasis on the wrestling, I would also like to say, is a great length for a pay-per-view. We can all have different opinions on this, but remember, just, not be a dick. No reason to be a dick. I had literally, like, I literally had to run to the toilet and speed run a piss in between matches. Like most of the post promo stuff had been done and taken care of on 0 Hour or on the YouTube page. Or even during the tailgate brawl, leaving the entire pay-per-view, like I said before, emphasis on wrestling, just fabulous entrances, shenanigans, and wrestling. So if you needed to be, you had to be fucking quick. Marina Shafir and her aura of violence accompanies her extremely mad, and I mean madder than normal, Death Riders, who are opening the show in the eight-man tag against the conglomeration. Kyle O'Reilly, I just want to top off, is a treasure. Strong Boy is brilliant. Tomohiro Ishii is like an evolving legend, and it's really nice having Orange Cassidy there. But enough of all that. Marina has decided not to come ringside, so we get the fuck out of here. It's straight into tag team fun times. Mega Bad, aka Top Gods. I guess we're going with that now. This is the hero of the locker room, Willow Nightingale and Holly Cameron. And I just got so excited. Can you hear it? Then I have now, yeah, lost my voice. Excuse me while I take a moment to supple. Supple? No, don't say supple on the pod. We don't need that. Just discovered a word that I don't really like saying. Ew. Anyway, moving on. We're not saying that. Not saying that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. 4 women wrestling battles are a part of this show. 3 of them are on the pay-per-view. This one was one of the ones I was looking forward to the most. You really do just get to see my brain switch out in real time on the show, don't you? Fuck me. Woo! Penelope Ford and Megan Bain, or shall I say Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, they walk out to the ring. I didn't expect cosplay battle gear, and I popped so freaking hard. 2 of my faves, as 2 of my faves in the universe. If Harley Cameron had come out as Catwoman and Willow had come out as Batgirl, I'd have died right then and there. No more show. Mega Bad, as I say, are titled as Top God. So, yeah, I guess we're going to Phase 1 of wrestling's greatest entrance is completed, and they make their way to the ring. Penelope threatens the audience with her hammer, and Bane glides like an organic statue to the ring. Phase 2 into Phase 3, and the battle entrance is complete. I love the entrance so much. Imagine like a bunny amongst all this violence. A woman can dream. Feel that! And the crowd erupts. After a tough battle that we went through with Bane earlier in the week, the even tougher Harley Cameron is back, and this time she has backup. I could not, for the life of me, I could not for the life of me remember Harley Quinn's last name. All the time while I was repeating, what I was trying to remember was Harley Cameron, Harley Cameron, Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron. No, it's Harley Cameron. It's not Harley Cameron because that's Harley Cameron. I know. And that is Penelope Ford. Yes, but who is she? Harley Cameron. No, that is how deep, that is how deep I am in wrestling. Fucking Harley Cameron gives no fucks. She is dressed in blue, pink, and green battle gear with all the straps, and she confidently battle skips. I say battle skips to the ring to complete her battle entrance, despite not having any backup. And Bane and Ford are already in the ring and are not leaving. Ford scolds the crowd for cheering her, but they are not listening. As soon as the first notes of Willow Nightingale's music hits, the entire arena loses their collective shit. Literally one of the biggest pops in wrestling going around at the moment. Everyone loves the hero of the locker room. Even tribalists love the hero of the locker room. Willow is just as confident as always and dressed in matching colored battle gear as Harley Cameron. Wait. Harley and Harley face off. Oh, Harley and Harley face. Harley bad and Harley face. We'll get there. Start the battle with the bad Harley giving the good Harley the hair grab slam. Harley shakes it off and comes back at Ford, but bad Harley strikes again with another hair grab slam. Penelope gets really cheeky with Cameron and they start talking shit to each other. Cameron takes Ford down and starts hammering down forearms into Penelope's face. A failed pin goes into a headlock, and when they run off the ropes, Willow tags herself in without Penelope realizing. She soon finds out, though, after avoiding Hardy's speed bump and running straight into a shoulder a shoulder tackle of a taco. No, a tackle of a taco. She's lost her brain. She's gone mad. Willow's, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. We're going up to here. She soon finds out, though, exactly, because after avoiding Harley Cameron's speed bump and running straight into a shoulder tackle on a taco from Willow. And with that, we all get a gun show and celebration. Unfortunately for Penelope, things don't get better. Harley's speed bump. Don't read on. No, Harley doesn't do that at all. Harley gets smushed into the corner by Willow's stiff and powerful short lariats, and then is taken out for the pin with a ripcord lariat that Penelope could see coming, but was unable to avoid. What she does avoid, though, is the pin. Ha! Willow tags out to the good Harley, and they double team on Penelope Ford Harley. Missiles through. Oh, missiles. It went again. I cracked under the pressure of double Harleys. Going back. Willow takes out to the good Harley. All right, you with me? And they double team on Penelope Ford. Harley missiles through the bad Harley with a drop kick into a pin that Penelope Ford nopes the fuck out of at 1 and scampers to her corner to tag in Bane. Willow calls for the tag and the two powerhouses of their teams face off. Willow and Bane have yet to face each other one-on-one in combat, I would like you all to know. Thank you very much. It started off quick and stiff, but a cheeky kick to the back from Ford to Willow stopped her momentum. But that distraction doesn't work, and Willow avoids Bane's sneaky little attack. Willow tries to pin Bane, but she kicks out. Willow tries again, but this time Penelope gets in the ring and boots her in the face to break it up. They go to double team Willow with the mega lariat, but Willow avoids and takes them out instead with her double lariat. Willow tags in Harley and they take out Penelope and Bane with simultaneous enzigulis that looked really cool. They double team again with an assisted splash that takes out Ford for a pad. Harley and Willow attempt to suplex Bane, but Megan megasis over all of them for a double suplex and they go flying out of the ring. It was not to be the land of safety they were looking for, though, as she fucks with the audio again and really must stop. I'm grabbing the cord, woman. We're a creaky system over here. It was not, she says, the land of safety they were looking for, as Ford springs up the ropes and takes just a moment to adjust before executing one of the most perfect, gorgeous moonsaults to the outside I have ever seen. It now lives rent-free in my head. I'm like replaying it right now. Oh my goodness. Ford lands on her feet and does a victory twirl, and not even the crowd can help but cheer for everything that we just witnessed. And we get a battle pose for Poison Bane and Harley Ford in celebration. Battle from Poison Bane and Harley Ford. Oh my God. I'm honestly, this is not like a full-on bias thing here. That moonsault was fucking perfection. Megan Bane sends Willow into the LED barricade, and Penelope leans Cameron up against the ring and uses her body for just a little bit of kick practice. Shenanigans over, Penelope rolls Cameron back into the ring and goes for a cover. But that doesn't work. Ford takes Harley over to the ropes for a little fun choking in her very uniquely super bad way. As the crowd rally behind Harley Cameron, Penelope tags out to Bane, who then proceeds to shoulder barge Harley further into the corner. Bane brings Harley out to the middle of the ring and scoop slams her up in a delayed slam, then kicks invisible dust into Harley's face. The blatant disrespect gets all the boos from the crowd. The impressness of Penelope Ford's moonsault disappears. Bane grabs Harley by the hair and tags in Penelope Ford. Bane plants Harley into the corner and Penelope takes her out with a perfect handspring back elbow that the crowd cannot help but admire, and they're back on Megabad's side. The Megasis suplexes Harley back into the middle of the ring and then turns herself into the perfect springboard for Ford, who uses Bane's strong back to launch off, and she lands the standing moonsault. Mwah! Right on target. That target being Harley Cameron. And Ford goes for the pin. Harley engages kicky feet and kicks out by 2. She doesn't go far, though, and ends up in bad Harley's clutches again. Penelope chokes her and stretches Cameron out, digging her knee into Harley's spine. Penelope brings Harley to her corner again and pins her there, while Bane gets the tag and enters the ring. Bane beats Harley up some more and missiles through her with a sliding lariat, but Harley Cameron still kicks out before 3, people. Harley tries to reach Willow, and the crowd give her that extra oomph that she needs to, like, go gadget arm there, but Bane has her in her clutches, and then turns on Willow, knocking her off the apron. Willow is rightly very mad about this, and this may come and bite her in the butt. Harley gathers that power from the crowd and ducks the clothesline coming in from Bane. She keeps her momentum going off the ropes and glomps onto Megan Bane for a glorious tilt-a-whirl DDT. Sidebar, it's been a while since I've said it, though, but not only is Bane a dominating wrestler, this is real life sidebar, by the way, she is also, like, super giving and will, like, sell the fuck out of your shit. She's such a good wrestler. Harley crawls over to her corner, back in Diva, and finally manages to get the hot tag to the hero of the locker room, Willow Nightingale. Nightingale. No, that's a different. Go follow Willow Nightingale on Instagram. It's a very, very adorable puppy of a sicko. She's so fucking sweet. Followed by the hero of the locker room herself, but I digress. Penelope takes a tag from Bane and runs in to face Willow. Willow takes both of them out, and Penelope gets hammered into the corner by Willow's forearms. Bane recovers and tries to stop Willow, but the Megasis gets sent to the ropes. And just as Willow lands the pounce on Bane, co-host of the brand new Books and Beck show, you may have heard about it, makes herself, and like books herself, I should just say, skipped over that part, books herself, makes her AEW tailgate debut via the little, like, thread cheering thing they do from time to time on the little screen there. Oh, we do moan about them. I admit it wholeheartedly. We do moan about them. And none of that is invalid. But when you see, like, a friend on the telly, you get the good feels. You just do. So with that in mind, I will try and think about that the next time. And, like, I want to go have a moan. I might just keep it to myself, maybe. I might just not look. It's fine. Because, like I said, when you see someone you're just like, it was very, very, very exciting. Moving on. Back in the ring, Penelope gets caught with a fabulous spine buster, and Willow hoists her up for the babe with the powerbomb. Ford rakes at Willow's eyes and manages to Hurricane Rana out of that danger. She tags in Megan, who flings Penelope at Willow, and she catches her with an ingenious stunner. Bane goes for the cover, but Harley gets in to break up the pin. Cameron almost murders Penelope Ford with a brutal backstabber. Ooh! But then she gets plowed down by Megan's decapitator. Willow is up and she powers Bane onto her shoulders and down into the mat for the Death Valley driver. Ford has recovered somewhat and Matrix cutters Willow. All wrestlers are now down and out as the crowd rightly chant, "This is awesome." Willow and Bane start the battle off again. This time, Bane feels the pain of a very strong lariat. Willow tags in Harley and they go for the double team. But Bane is quick to regain stamina this time and flies out of the corner with a stiff double lariat, taking out them both, I should say. Bane tags in Ford and they set up Harley for the Doomsday device. But the very smart Harley victory rolls out of the line of fire and Ford splats down onto the mat. Okay. Bane gets taken out, and it's Harley versus Harley. Penelope hefts Cameron up onto her shoulders for her lung blower. But this one wasn't as successful as they usually are. Harley gains the upper hand on Ford with the pump handle suplex, and Ford ends up in the wrong corner. Willow gets tagged in, and this time she is successful with Babe with the power bomb, and Penelope gets smooshed up good. Good. Willow wins it with the 1 and 2 and 3, and as you can imagine, the crowd they be going. Ah, it was such a fun tag match. It really, really was. It had great time. It had a lot of the show, even though, it wasn't like the pre-show, so to speak. But they had a lot of time on the show, and I'm loving I'm just loving this extended like rivalry, like I said, between Bane and also with Ford, because they're both in cahoots against Harley, and Harley just keeps come back. Whether or not she wins or she loses, she comes back and she's always stronger. I love this. Bane may rue the day she fucked with a Miss Harley Cameron. Ooh, my word. Now, before we get screamed at by ourselves, we're going to take a little drinky break because, my dear sickos, it is time for the main card of WrestleDream. Everyone is banned ringside for the first women's match on this card. Jamie Hayter has been wanting revenge on Tekla for months. And will tonight be the night that she gets it? Tekla explodes out to the ring first in a cool as fuck holographic mask, and she is full of toxic energy. Tekla is in her new red battle gear and battle jacket, and she looks like a badass with her badass battle entrance, which next up, the battle song we have all been waiting for. Everyone, are you ready? Are you ready to shake down? What have I got for you this time? Who knows? Let's see if it will be in tune. Who gives a fuck? Are you ready? Bam, 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 bam. This music brings death. Ugh. Hate is going to kill you. Kinda sad about it. You know this is your fault. Tekla, you shouldn't have been cheeky little shit when you took out this English badass bitch. Time to feel the haterade. And she goes all of the grave. So yeah, this time, this battle will not be easy. Oh, she's a disheveled woman, isn't she always? Oh my goodness, fix her up. Oh, look at her, looking at herself in the camera. Oh my goodness, could she get more vain? Perhaps. Hayter has Antonio Inoki's red scarf and paying tribute. Oh, have I fucked up the thing? No, we're back. And and paying tribute with the black robe, giving her even more power on her side. Fire erupts behind her as Jamie stomps on the ring, pausing to take a moment to hug Tali Stairs. Stairs Press, by the way. They sprint into action, running full speed at each other. Oh, she's going to play with this a little bit more. No, yeah, we're good. We don't want to have bad audio on the show. We don't want to fling into mad action and then all of a sudden everyone's like, well, look at this fucking idiot. Now she just fucked her audio for the rest of the thing. Beginning back in, as I was saying, they sprint into action, full speed at each other. Hater takes Tickler out with a pump kick, and Tickler go down. Hater ground and pounds Tickler into the mat. Tickler absorbs the blows and turns that around on Hater. They eat each other's forearms until Hater brings the battle back to their feet. Hater chops some spice into Tickler's chest, and I notice a very familiar thread. Oh gosh. By familiar person, as me, you mad ass unhinged Kiwi made it onto the fucking pay-per-view with that whole like thing with the bang and the boobs and the bops. Hey, person. The release of Books and Big Show is blessed, I have to say. Once again, thank you to everyone who was just as excited as I was. That was an even bigger surprise to me. You really get that I was chosen feeling, and it's a strange feeling from someone who's never gotten that I was chosen feeling like that. It's so silly. It's only social media. But you really do pop when you see a little thing there. Moving the fuck on from that. Tekla has been chopped out of the ring, and she has no intention of getting back in anytime soon. Thank you very much. As soon as she does get back in, Tekla greets her with a big pump kick to the face. A lovely deadass from Tekla takes Hater off of her feet, but Hater quickly avoids the incoming boot from Tekla and takes her out with a shoulder tackle. Tekla once again nopes the fuck out of there, but Hater follows this time. Jamie Hader grabs Tekla by the head and runs her into the second most dangerous barricade, the tiny one in front of the timekeeper's area. Did I mention how much I love the colors and designs for like WrestleDream this year? You can see it like on this like beautiful little promo we've got going on over here. Waves her hands in front of her and everything goes. The reds and the golds are so pleasing to look at, and the hint of like Japanese gives an elegance to like this whole sicko fantasy. Hader then runs Tekla into the most dangerous barricade, old lady herself, the thick LED barricade. Everyone ringside is very pleased. Hader slams Tekla's head into the side of the ring and then the steel steps, pausing only to quickly duck under the ropes to break the count from that pesky ref. Hader takes Tekla over to where Charlie Thez is chilling, and she gives Tekla a few spanking chops to the delight of a Mrs. Thez. No shit. She looked like she was having like the best time. And I swear I saw her hold the arms of Tekla for that first shot. Hader shakes the hand of who looks like, no bullshit, the sweetest woman, and shenanigans have been confirmed. Wholesome as fuck, though. But enough of all that bullshit. With Tekla already in the ring, Hader gets in to face her, but Tekla runs a boot right through her skull, and Hader tumbles down to the floor. Tekla taunts the crowd for funsies and then climbs onto the top rope to perform a devastating, and I emphasize devastating crossbody that was one of the best I have ever fucking seen. And both wrestlers crash to the floor. Hader with pain, Tekla with satisfaction, and maybe a little bit of pain. Tekla takes Hader and runs her through the barricade behind the Spanish announce desk. She is not done and grabs Hader by the head and sends her crashing into that opposite barricade, right in front of Mrs. Charlie Thez again. Tekla extends her hand to Charlie, and Charlie, being the good person that she is, goes to shake Tekla's hand. But Tekla punks out, and even Charlie can't help a little smirk at the audacity. Tekla grabs Hader and brings her back into the ring. The toxic spider makes a very cocky pin that Hader kicks out of and then goes for a few more quick pins just to mess with Jamie. Hader counters the whip into the corner but gets caught in Tekla's web, and she chokes her out with the Jorogumo. But Hader powers Tekla up and out of the ropes. But she soon collapses back to the mat, with Tekla still squeezing her legs around Jamie's neck. In the end, they end up in the ropes again, and Tekla must release the submission, finally. Tekla bullies Hader around the ring. The ref tries to warn her about pulling Hader's hair, and she replies by taking the piss out of his baldness. See if that doesn't come and bite her in the ass a little later. Hader finds herself being choked out on the ropes by Tickler. Again, as she slows the battle down, but not the damage. Tickler chops Hader down and then she decides to take some time for herself and taunts the crowd. Always take a moment for yourself in any stressful situation. Hader finally gets to her feet and starts laying in forearms to Tickler in the middle of the ring, but Tickler clocks her with one stiff forearm and Hader crumbles back down to the mat. They keep fighting through, and eventually Hader manages to land a few stiff shots to Tickler, and Hader slams her into the mat with an exploder suplex. Hader smushes Tickler into the corner and he missiles through her with a drop kick off the ropes, but she cannot keep Tickler down for the pin. Hader gets Tickler up for a delayed suplex, but this delay works against her as Tickler manages to knee her in the top of her head. Tickler flies from the top rope, but Hader avoids the body splash this time. Tickler lands on her feet and they dance the dance of counters until shit turns brutal on the top rope. Hader headbutts Tickler off the ropes and she stumbles to the mat. Tickler recovers and they continue to battle until Hader uses a boost of strength and cracks Tickler's knee with cracks Tickler's neck with a brutal neck breaker. Both wrestlers, who spells neck? K-N-E-E-K. Both warriors collapse to the mat. The ref starts to count as the crowd gets behind the two warriors. They get to their feet and things ramp up in the brutality department. Do I hear a wild Rhea Ripley? Every time I say brutal department, I just hear her music in the distance. Both wrestlers lay in stiff forearm shots to each other until Tickler switches it up with a damaging variant of the octopus submission. Hader is mad strong though, and she stays on her feet, carrying Tickler around while she tries to find a way out of the submission. Hader finds it with a backbreaker, but she soon finds herself in another submission by Tickler. This time, Hader manages to get her foot to the bottom rope and breaks the hold this way. The ref is packing sad over the earlier bald mocking, and he is not taking any of Tickler's shit as she attempts to remove her belt. Tickler gets another backbreaker from Hader because of this distraction. Tickler is activated twice over now and spider matrixes herself out of the lariat, spinning with an uneasy quickness, then plows through Hader with the spear. Tickler releases a battle cry from the deepest of depths, but the pin is a unsuccessful one due to Jamie Hader's boot being under the bottom rope. Once again, the ref is just keeping too much of a sharp eye on these things. Tickler shouldn't have mocked his boldness. Tickler springs into spider mode again, and Spider walks into the spear, but she ends up spearing herself into the lariat from Hader, who quickly follows it up with a Haterade, and Jamie Hader gets the win! And it says sweet, sweet revenge on Tickler! It happened that fucking quickly. Holy goddamn shit. Woo! Okay. Real talk, right? That match was so fucking quick and so fucking stiff. Those two must have been hooped after this match. In all the good ways, of course. Okay, back in the land. The battle between Hader and Tickler did not disappoint, and they are brilliant opponents for each other. They fight similar yet different enough to counter each other's moves. It's not been like the best pay-per-view for my ladies, Triangle of Madness, to be real, but both Bane and Tickler came out Bane? Both Bane? I wrote Beta. God, imagine the tag team of Hader and Bane. Everyone will just be done. Moving on, crazy one. But both Hader and Tickler came out super strong in that battle. They better still keep those two apart backstage because that is not done. The one and only Queen Aminata, gorgeous and green, came running out from the back to celebrate with her friend over the defeat of their shared foe. Jillian Hart and Sky Blue come out too and lock eyes with them in the ring. Yeah. Things are definitely going to get way more violent between these women. Blood and Guts. We still don't know the answer of Blood and Guts yet, by the way. Later on in the pay-per-view, after some excellent battles between the menfolk, we get to pre-match promos from the challenger, Timeless Tony Storm, and the world champion, Chris Statlander, before their individual ring entrances. Tony narrates hers. She's currently in her film noir detective era, and the multi-talented Harley Cameron narrates the world champions. The world goes grey, but sweat's dripping down my crack because it's time for Timeless Tony Storm. Tony comes out in her long white trench coat and matching hat. Is that fedora? I don't really know hats. Tony Storm glide gallops to the ring as the St. Louis crowd greet her appropriately. Storm completes her battle entrance, and as color returns to the world, we see the Timeless One is dressed in all white for battle. The world champion, Chris Statlander, comes out next with two half-naked menfolk. And what I was told was a Dune-esque type vibe. They help the world champion out of her battle gear accessories, and she stomps to the ring. Stat's new ring music slaps. It's like my favorite one of her whole bunch, and this is my current also favorite version of Statlander, even before she got the title. Stat Daddy is in new white and lavender battle gear with the extra poise of a world champion. As passionate as these two have been leading up to this, they start off all very businesslike with some good old wrestling graps. Timeless gets Chris in the head scissors, but Statlander easily powers herself out of it. We get another little pop-up from the socials, but unfortunately it's no one we know this time. But we did have a little more. The wrestling battle continues between these two, who are both very comfortable in this technical dance of violence, both yet to use their full power on one another just too quickly. Don't blow your load. Storm, stop it. Storm decides to give it a try, though, and goes to shoulder budge the world champion. But Stat Daddy doth not budge. Fuck! Exclaims the former world champion, and she goes for another, but the current world champion counters and takes her down with a shoulder barge of her own. We get treated to a world champion gun show, and this puts the fire in Tony Storm's britches, and this time it is Timeless who wins the shoulder battle barge, and we get a gun show from Storm. We're lucky, she says, having a battle with the microphone and her hair. Timeless hip attacks Stat through the ropes, and she tumbles out to the floor. Storm goes out to get her and deals a little cheeky damage to Chris while she's out there. But Chris doesn't go down, and she slams Storm's face into the side of the ring. Stat takes her out with a perfect pendulum moonsault, and she takes a moment to pose for the crowd. The world champion is, might I say, stunning. It's not a prerequisite, of course, but confidence does look good on a person. Chris very kindly helps Storm back into the ring via a fisherman's carry. Stat walks up the steps to the apron with astonishing ease and then dumps Tony into the ring. Stat springboards herself over the ropes with a senton and then sounds like wonton, and then pins Timeless, but she only gets the two. Stat follows it up with a scoop slam and then runs off the ropes with a sliding lariat into an outstanding pin, but Tony Storm still kicks out before 3. Stat works on squeezing the life out of Tony's lower back, and she won't let go, despite Storm's attempts at rolling out of it. A few good back elbows help, but Storm ends up running into another stiff lariat from the world champion once she gets to her feet. And once again, Stat wins the power battle, but doesn't get the pin. A moment to absorb the power from the crowd backfires on Statlander, and Tony gets some space from an explosive suplex. Storm comes in hot with a barrage of forearms and elbows that gets the champ on the ropes. She cannot complete domination over Stat, and they dance the dance of counters again until Stat kicks through Storm's defenses and then smashes her face into the mat with a gorgeous face buster. Tony ends up in the corner of the ring, and Stat runs an uppercut right through her. She returns with a running knees, but finds no Storm. Tony yoinks Stat's head and drives it into the mat with a swinging DDT. Tony looks to go for the Storm Zero, but instead, it's a gorgeous Tiger Driver, and she pins the world champion to the mat. But Storm cannot keep her shoulders pinned and Stat breaks out at door. Tony Storm goes for the Storm Zero this time, but Chris blocks it with her head. And Timeless gets a headbutt to around about the punani area. Apparently legal. Or the ref didn't see it because she doesn't get a warning. But Chris does get a knee to the face. And a hammerlock something or other. I couldn't find out exactly what it was, unfortunately. And that drove me nuts. I spent way too long trying to find out what that was. Tony Storm pins Stat's shoulders to the mat, but she does not get the win, which frustrates the hoop out of the Timeless one. Stat recovers well, as is tradition of the world champion, and gets Tony up onto her shoulders in an electric chair and slams her face first into the mat. Stat rolls Timeless up in a vicious submission that we still don't know the name of, but it head scissors Timeless and wrenches back on her arms, if you can get the idea. The leg, like leaving her on, grabs her arms and her leg, my bad, leaving only like one of her legs dangling free. You're not going to get a picture of that from that absolute butchered description. Stat bends Tony back so deeply that she also pushes the side of her face into the mat. Tony gets her other leg free, and with the power of her hips now accessible, she rolls herself over and gets her foot onto the rope. As the crowd dual chant for the wrestlers, Tony gets the TCM chicken wing on Stat, complete with a side of body sizzles. But Stat gets her powerful legs to the bottom rope and breaks all of that noise. Chris nopes out of the Storm Zero and puts a brutal submission on Tony instantly. She cries out in pain. She then quickly nopes out of that and cradles up the champion for a very close pin. Stat power slams Tony twice into the mat and goes for the pin, but Tony also kicks out before the three. Both wrestlers get to their feet, exchanging punches. Storm connects with Storm Zero, but Stat puts her hands down before the top of her head connects with the mat, and she just handstands out of that shit. The world champion climbs to the top rope and clashes down to Timeless with the 450 splash. The will of Storm, though, is still burning, and she kicks out of that at 2. Tony is fired up with the rage of battle, and this time fully connects with the Storm Zero. But not even that can keep world champion Chris Statlander down for the 3 count. Stat goes into full-blown winning sequence mode and rolls Tony up into the seatbelt for the pin, but Tony breaks free before 3. Both wrestlers have suplex rage out, but Stat Daddy ends it with a discus lariat. A Saturday Night Fever turns into a painful few moments for Tony, who won't pass out, who won't tap out. That 4-time world champion in her will not allow her to do either. Instead, Storm starts screaming at Stat, and when she can get the words out, you can hear Tony screaming something along the lines of, like, for Chris to, like, kill her. So Stat Daddy obliges. And with one more Saturday Night Fever, Chris Statlander finally gets Tony Storm down long enough for the 1 and the 2 and that motherfucking 3. The crowd goes bonkaroos. There is no denying it now. Holy flying fraggles, folks. That was a clash of titans if we had ever seen one. Tony Storm takes the world title out of the hands of the ref, gets steady on her feet, and places it on the world champion's shoulder. Timeless has let the championship go for now, and it glistens on its rightful owner. Storm leaves the ring, and Stat holds her title high in victory. Until a certain belt collector interrupts, and the world champion celebration gets cut short. The TBS champion comes out to the ring with her own entourage of idiots, the frat house. They have her titles and all of the honeybee exploding behind her. Deserving of a champion, of course, but the audacity to do this to the world champion, Renee. You may have more, but Statlander has the AEW World Championship, my dear. Ultimo Mine, Ultimo Mine's all over the ring. Stat leaves it to it. And she calls out her mystery challenger. It's music I did not expect. But fuck yeah, I am all over what is about to come out right now because it is Mina Shirakawa. Yes, let's do this again. Though Mina is putting her interim ROH World Tally title on the line, and if you're any sort of up to date on this pay-per-view, you will already know that this does not go well for Mina. But it's a bloody good match. Let's just pretend for now and let's get freaking into it. When Mina's music hits, Moné's face is that of stern intrigue. But she does clutch her TBS title very close to her body as Mina battle dances, white pom-poms flying everywhere, and then shimmies her gorgeous self down to the ring. Mina gets into the ring and completes her battle pose. The two champions come face to face, and Mercedes instantly points at Mina's title, already confident that it is hers. The more bouts Monet gets, the more delusional confident she may become, and that could bite her in the butt soon. Speaking of the ROH Interim World Tele Championship, champion, I should say, Red Velvet, the champion, posted something up on her socials, but it wasn't wrestling related, so don't get your hopes up just yet. Monet is in purple and Mina is in teal and gold, and as soon as the bell rings, both of them pounce. Mina gets in first with a sharp dragon screw that transitions quickly into the figure four, and Mercedes screams out in pain. She gets to the ropes to break the hold very quickly, but Mina lets it linger for a little while longer. The frustrated Monet rolls to the outside. Her knee is already tender, and she shakes it off and wiggles it around, and shit ain't good. Mina has a very good strategy for Monet without having to change really too much of her moveset, to be honest. Monet loves to attack with her knees, and Mina knows how to destroy knees in many different ways. Mina beckons Monet to come back into the ring, but she hesitates first. The crowd start chanting for Mina, and she responds by doing a very, from the depths, by doing a very disrespectful mocking CEO dance with extra jiggles, for fun, and brings the TBS champion that brings the TBS champion into the ring. Monet's anger trips her up though, and Mina mocks her again, this time with her own battle titty shimmy. Mercedes is furious and grabs Mina by the hair, but she gets a swift boot to the face. This activates Mercedes into fuck you bitch mode, and she springs into action, taking Mina down to the mat and attempts the statement maker. But Shirakawa manages to block that submission. The whip into the ropes just gives Mina more power to tilt-a-whirl all over the CEO and slams her down into the mat with a very stiff Russian leg sweep and stretches her out with the La Tapatia, or the surfboard. Mina gets full extension, and Monet can only scream out in pain. Mina mocks Monet mercilessly again. We have fun here, but finds herself soon in the clutches of Monet as she desperately tries to get out of the statement maker. Mina almost makes it to the ropes, having her arm free, I should say, makes it easier for her to move closer. But Mercedes kicks off the ropes and rolls backwards like a flash, cracks Mina's back with a backstabber. Didn't expect it to go into that. Mercedes follows that up with a lung blower and goes for the pin. But tough old Mina kicks out at 2. Mercedes keeps the damage coming and digs her knee real deep into Mina's Shirakawa's back, whilst also pulling back on her arms. Mina is tough as fuck, though, and gets to her feet eventually. Mercedes is on a mission, though, and soon Mina finds herself in the corner, straddled across the middle ropes. Mercedes drives the double knees through Mina's stomach, but that won't even get the 3 count. As the crowd have their own battle of chants, the battle continues in the ring, with Mercedes going for another pin after the running meteor off the ropes, but she is denied. Mercedes gets a look of malice that comes across her face, and Mina answers that look by driving her face into the mat with a swinging DDT. Mina takes Monet's limp body and goes for the suplex, but it was a ruse, and Monet blocks all of that bollocks. She stands in the middle of the ring, chuff as fook after a hair grab, slamming Mina's head into the mat. A little CEO shimmy for good luck, and Monet lands the three amigos on Shirakawa. Someone, I would like to say, who is known to do the same thing. Monet has a devious idea and decides it is now she who will be doing the mocking as she attempts to put the figure four on Mina. Mina boots her in the butt, but Monet runs back in with the double knees. Mercedes decides to go for the frog splash this time, but Mina gets her feet up and nails Monet in. Oh, yeah, and nails Monet into the mat with a heavy suplex. The crowd gets behind Mina and she tries to grab every inch of that power. Both wrestlers get to their feet and exchange heavy blows in the middle of the ring. Mina decides to switch it up and runs off the ropes, but comes back to a drop kick from Mercedes. Monet does the same thing, but this time she runs into a drop kick from Mina, who unleashes a battle cry from the depths. Mina has had enough of all of this meteor bollocks and ties up Monet's legs in a clover leaf. But instead of turning Monet over, Mina drops backwards and catapults her over the head. Mina does more damage to Mercedes' knees when she captures it in the ropes and snaps it, twisting Monet's leg at a very awkward angle. Mina once again calls on the crowd for power, and she tornillos herself over the top rope and slams down onto Mercedes. Mina's tornillo is a thing of beauty. This doesn't keep, I should say, Monet down for the win. So Mina takes to the top rope again. Mercedes gets to her feet, but instead of this being to her benefit, it's her detriment. And Mina brings her back crashing down into the mat with an avalanche sling blade. Shirakawa tries for the pin this time, but it still doesn't give her the 3 count. Mina attempts the glamorous driver, but Mercedes knows all about this and nopes out of that. Turns that shiz into a backstabber. Monet is still fooked from all that damage, and she is slow to execute the Monet maker, and Mina. Oh, Monet, oh, Mona, oh, Mina. Moving on. Where am I? Wriggles out. Wriggles her butt out of it. Mina goes for another swinging DDT, but is unsuccessful though. Mercedes cannot block the glamorous driver this time, and Mina slams her into the mat. Mina goes for the pin, but Mercedes is not dead and kicks out. Mina goes for the figure four, and this time she locks it in. Mercedes is screaming out of pain, screaming out in pain, due to all of the damage that Mina has purposefully been doing to her knee. Eventually, through intense pain, though, Mercedes Monet survives long enough to make it to the ropes, and Mina must let go. Out on the apron, Mercedes gathers her wits and nails Mina with a lung blower out of nowhere. She follows it up with the running Meteora, but she is breathing hard after all of that, and it takes a while for Monet to get Mina back into the ring. Mina is a very tough woman, and she kicks out before 3 once Monet gets that pin on her. Mercedes attacks with the Meteora again, this time off the top ropes, but Mina still won't stay down for Mercedes. Mercedes goes into next level brutality and sunset flips Mina into the corner turnbuckle, the back of her head taking all of that impact. Mercedes lines up Mina and runs in with the Meteora, but finds no Mina, instead only ring post. Mina is activated and fuck knows what level now, and clocks Monet in the face with multiple back fists and forearms. She unleashes a battle cry and then nails Monet in the head with a spinning back fist. Mina Shirakawa quickly snaps on the figure four, but Monet manages to get a good handful of Mina's hair and breaks up the submission. I mean, it's a good way to get out of it, if I'm honest. Mercedes crumples to the corner, but manages to counter Mina's incoming attack in time and rolls her up into a pin. Mercedes instantly puts her foot on the ropes for illegal leverage, but the ref was sharp to those shenanigans and he stops the count. Monet Pexasad and argues with the ref, who is giving it right back. And thankfully, the ref bump in the corner is avoided twice. But behind the ref's back, Monet pokes Mina in the eyes and then goes for that little roll up. This is not going to get the win, though, Miss Monet, and Mina strongly kicks out. The match stays on the mat as they take. Oh, as they taking. Oh, that's what I was saying. The match stays on the mat as they take and also counter out of each other's attempts of submissions. When the battle gets back on its feet, Monet blocks the kick from Mina and nails her with the Monet Maker. Super close to the ropes, I should say. And with the lazy ass cover, Mercedes puts on Mina. All she has to do is just reach out ever so slightly and grabs the rope before 3. The entire crowd are on their feet. Mercedes is going through a barrage of emotions, and the crowd chant for Mina. Mercedes almost crumbles, almost. But then the fury of a disrespected champion, in her eyes, spreads all across Monet's face, and she composes herself and gets back onto her feet. Monet gets some help getting to her feet. No, my bad. Mina gets some help getting to her feet from Monet, and she screams in Mina's ear. But Mina ends up being the one smooshed into the corner. Mercedes goes for the Monet Maker, but Mina counters it in the coolest way possible and repeated slams Mercedes into the corner turnbuckles like she was a backpack. Mina Shirakawa unleashes a huge battle cry and runs it at Monet with a lariat. Monet quickly ducks under that, rolls Mina up, and with her foot on the rope, out of sight of the ref this time, Mercedes, and I need to point this out, has needed to cheat to win my every last 3 AEW matches. Monet gets the 1, 2, 3. On a furious Amina, Mercedes rolls under the same rope she used to cheat and shuffles up against the ring post, gasping like a teen pageant queen who's just won the crowd. But instead of a shiny crown, Mercedes has just won a brand new gorgeous title. She gets handed the interim Ring of Honor Women's World Tele Championship and she hugs it close. She looks deep into her title's eyes, and that CEO smile of cocky madness comes straight back. Mercedes takes center stage and a victory dances with her new title as confetti rains down upon her. Something else is coming down upon her, and it is the world champion as payback for what? For her interrupting her previous championship celebration. Why did my brain go? Like I say, you can literally watch in time from the moment that my brain just stops working. But yet I do this for your entertainment. Those two have a very, very serious beat. Well, Renee gets beaten down in the ring by the world champion, as she deserves, I have to say. And we are going to be seeing a match between those two very, very soon. Monet wants her title. She ain't gonna get it. She's going to try, but she ain't going to get it. I don't think so anyway. You cannot convince me of that. Now, before we leave this absolutely wonderful pay-per-view, we take a slight moment backstage to a distraught Toni Storm. Been there, honey. She has the 10,000-yard stare just into nothing, leaning up against the corner of a of a equipment trunk. Tony was it Tony or is it Lexi? I don't know right now. Tries to comfort her and gets some words, but Tony is in a world of distraught. And unfortunately, she now has a very close partner in sadness. As the very beautiful but very, very sad Mina Shirakawa comes over and they both console each other backstage. Mina tells Timeless, at least we have each other, and no truer words were spoken. Tag team titles, maybe? Future tag team titles, maybe? Hmm. Thank goodness, like I said, they have each other. And together, they will bring life back into each other once again, even without stupid titles. Mm. And with that, my darling sickos, technical malfunctions and all, which you may or may not have noticed. We are at the end of episode 31 and our rundown of all of the amazing shenanigans in our own kind of way of WrestleDream. It is currently the 22nd of Wednesday over here at 6:14 p.m. And this time next week, I will be here sitting on a plane, flying my little ass to Japan. Well, not actually flying my own ass. Imagine if I could fly my own. We're not going there. I'm going to be on a very professionally driven plane on my way to Japan, which means you lucky people have probably, perhaps, maybe, depending, I don't know, seen the first episode of the Books and Big Show already. I can't wait for you all to hear it. I'm so freaking excited. And with the absolute silly, but like I said, completely warmed my heart, double host on the show kind of social thing. We like to take lore and have some fun here. And I'm just going to take a little bit of like Divaville fun lore and sprinkle it onto the Books and Beck show. It's meant to be. It's a hit. It's coming your way. Get it on the ground floor. Fuck it. I'm like acting like I'm going away for like ever, but you guys won't even notice probably. Depending on when these come out. But I just want to take this one little like real moment before we get into the shenanigans of the end of the show, just to say thank you so much for joining moi on this show that we have created for your viewing pleasure. It is a frickload of fun. I love being an idiot. Thank you for listening to me ramble on as I try and read a script that I have written. I swear. It's been a whole lot of fun. And I can't wait to show you all of the brilliance that I have been up to in Japan. Like especially the wrestling stuff. I'm gonna see, oh, I'm gonna share. There's gonna be so much sharing. You, me, everyone. So what are your thoughts on this week's discussion, my little sickos out there? If you so wish, you can leave them as a comment in the appropriate sections of wherever you currently are. And if you would be so kind as to like and subscribe whilst you're there, I'd be very grateful. Thank you very much. You can find me lurking threads at Bex, the famous at Bex underscore bestie. I joke, it's fun. And under a tree at Blue Sky at Bex hyphen Bastet. Please go follow us on TikTok as well, the Don't Call Me Diva show. Thank you, as always, to the wonderful Shane, who, without his help, this thing would never be here. He is my excellent producer, promoter, editor, extraordinaire, all of the good stuff. He has an amazing other channel, Ethos Media Network. Go check that out. They're on TikTok and all that kind of shenanigans as well. Go check them out. They share very good clips that may be appropriate to what's going on in the world right now. Join us at sickosclub.com. The very talented runners of sickosclub.com have some cute little Halloween merch at the moment for you all. Go check it out. Freaking cute. You can also catch up with everyone at Sickos Club on Threads. What are we saying? You've never met a more inclusive, smart, kind, and talented bunch of silly sausages who also happen to really enjoy wrestling. This was Don't Call Me Diva. When I see you next, I'm going to be a different Japanese traveled woman. Women's wrestling rules! And don't be a dick.